Hello friends, welcome to Prashant IAS. So friends, in the last class, we have started our discussion with the historical background of our constitution. And I have also told you that after the death of Ali Wardi Khan, there started the succession dispute in Bengal between Sirajuddaula and Ghasiti Begum. And after a long conflict, Sirajuddaula emerged victorious and he became the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, so from this class, we will continue our discussion with Sirajuddaula. So, friends, Sirajuddaula became the Nawab of Bengal in 1757. Okay, now in yesterday's class, I have also told you about Jagat Seth brothers. So, friends, Jagat Seth brothers were the traders of Bengal. They were very rich, they were money lenders, and they had a big say in the politics of Bengal. They had a big influence in the court of Bengal. Okay, now Jagat Seth brothers were very close to British East India Company. Okay, Jagat Seth brothers were very close to British East India Company. So Jagat Seth brothers wanted the Nawab of Bengal to provide trading monopoly and other privileges to British East India Company. So what they wanted? They wanted the Nawab to provide trading monopoly and other privileges to British East India Company. But friends, Nawab Sirajuddaulah was a very assertive person. He was a very strong person and he was determined to limit the influence of Jagat Seth brothers. Why? Because Jagat Seth brothers were unnecessarily interfering in the politics of Bengal. They were unnecessarily interfering in the court of Sirajuddaulah. So Sirajuddaulah was determined to limit the influence of Jagat Seth brothers. Okay. Now, friends, in yesterday's class, I have told you that Britishers came to India to do trade with India. Okay. So, as Britain is a country of Europe, similarly, there are many other countries in Europe. For example, France, Dutch, Portuguese. Okay. So, as Britishers came to India to do trade with India, similarly, Dutch also came to India. Portuguese also came to India. French also came to India. Okay. So Britishers came to India in the form of British East India Company. Similarly, French people came to India in the form of French East India Company. Okay. Now, as British East India Company was very close to Jagat Seth brothers, so Sirajuddaulah was determined to reduce the influence of Jagat Seth brothers, to decrease the influence of Jagat Seth brothers. So Sirajuddaulah inclined toward French East India Company. So Sirajuddaulah wanted to give trading monopoly and other privileges to French East India Company. So friends, there were two alliances. On the one hand, there was Jagat Seth brothers and British East India Company. And on the other hand, there was Nawab Sirajuddaulah and French East India Company. So, friends, as Nawab Sirajuddaulah refused to provide any trading monopoly to British East India Company, so Jagat Seth brothers advised British East India Company to give refuge to the political fugitives wanted by Sirajuddaullah's court. What does it mean? Refuge means shelter or protection, and political fugitive means criminals. Okay, so in the simple language, Jagat Seth brothers advised the British East India Company to give protection to the criminals wanted by Sirajuddaullah's court, and British East India Company did the same on their advice. Okay, now Jagat Seth brothers also advised British East India Company to fortify their trading positions. Now, what does it means? It means then to make a fort or a protection wall around their factories and to arm their factories, to keep weapons with them. Okay, so on the advice of Jagat Seth brothers, British East India Company fortified their trading positions. Now, friends, this made Nawab Sirajuddaulah very angry. Now Nawab Sirajuddaulah was very angry angry and he attacked on the trading positions of British East India Company in Calcutta. Okay, so Nawab Sirajuddaulah attacked on the trading positions of British East India Company in Calcutta. Now, what does it mean? It means that Nawab attacked the colony of Britishers. Nawab attacked on the factories of Britishers. Okay, and Nawab Sirajuddaulah imprisoned many British officials. Okay, Nawab attacked the colony of Britishers and Nawab imprisoned many British officials, and he kept all these prisoners in a very small room. Okay, so he kept all these British officials in a very small room, and due to suffocation, more than 20 British officials were killed. And this tragedy is known as Black Hole Tragedy. Okay, so what happened? That Nawab Sirajuddaulah imprisoned many British officials and kept all these officials in a small room. And due to suffocation, more than 20 British officials were killed, and this tragedy is known as Black Hole Tragedy. Now, this made Britishers very angry. Now, Britishers were very angry and they wanted to do war with Sirajuddaulah. Okay, so now what happened? Robert Clive was in Hyderabad. So Robert Clive marched from Hyderabad to Bengal to punish Sirajuddaulah. Okay, so Robert Clive with the army of Britishers. Okay, so Robert Clive with the army of Britishers marched from Hyderabad to Bengal to do war with Sirajuddaulah or to punish Sirajuddaulah. Okay, so now friends, on the one side there is Sirajuddaulah and on the other side there is British East India Company. Okay, now friends, French were the allies of Sirajuddaulah. Okay, so on the one hand there is Sirajuddaulah and French East India Company, and on the other hand there was British East India Company, Jagat Seth brothers. Okay, so on the other hand there was British East India Company and Jagat Seth brothers. Now friends, what happened? That French East India Company was a government owned company and British East India Company was a private trading company. For example, BSNL is a government owned company in India, and you all know what is the condition of BSNL. And Jio, Reliance Jio is a private owned company in India, and you also know about the condition of Reliance Jio. So similarly, the condition of French East India Company was not very good. They were not very powerful. Okay, the decision making process was not that swift. On the other hand, British East India Company was very powerful. Their decision making was very quick. If they had to declare a war, they can declare it in seconds. But the decision making of French East India Company was not that quick. So even though they were the allies of Sirajuddaulah, but they were of not that help. Okay, so they were negligible for Sirajuddaulah. So you can assume that Sirajuddaulah is alone on one hand, and on the other hand, there was British East India Company and Jagat Seth brothers. Now, friends, what happened that Mir Jafar was a prominent military commander of Sirajuddaulah. Okay, he was in charge of big number of soldiers in the army of Sirajuddaulah. Now, what Jagat Seth brothers did? Jagat Seth brothers lured the Mir Jafar. Okay, they lured Mir Jafar and they told Mir Jafar that if you will support us, if you will support British East India Company and Jagat Seth brothers in the war, okay, then after the death of Sirajuddaulah, we will make you the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, so they gave Mir Jafar an offer. Okay, so what happened? That Jagat Seth brothers gave an offer to Mir Jafar that if you will support British East India Company and Jagat Seth brothers in the War of Plassey, then definitely after the death of Sirajuddaulah, we will make you the Nawab of Bengal. And what happened, friends? That Mir Jafar get lured by their offer. Okay, and he betrayed with Sirajuddaulah. He betrayed with Sirajuddaulah and he supported British East India Company in the Battle of Plassey. Okay, so what he did, that when Sirajuddaulah ordered his army, means the army in the control of Mir Jafar, to attack on British East India Company, then the army then the army of Mir Jafar refused to follow the orders of Sirajuddaulah. Okay, so what happened that when Sirajuddaulah ordered Mir Jafar and his army to attack on British East India Company, then they refused to follow the orders of Sirajuddaulah and they supported British East India Company in the Battle of Plassey. Now Sirajuddaulah was left with very few soldiers because huge number of soldiers were controlled by Mir Jafar. He was a very big military commander in the army of Sirajuddaulah. So Sirajuddaulah was helpless and he was compelled to surrender. So finally, Britishers in the leadership of Robert Clive won the Battle of Plassey. So friends, finally Britishers emerged victorious in the Battle of Plassey in year 1757 and Sirajuddaulah was defeated by the Britishers. Now what happened? Now happened the Plassey plunder. Now what was Plassey plunder? So first of all, trading monopoly was granted to British East India Company's Bengal. Why? Because what was their main demand? They were demanding trading monopoly from Nawab Sirajuddaulah and Nawab Sirajuddaulah refused to give them trading monopoly. That's why the battle happened. So first of all, trading monopoly was granted to British East India Company in Bengal. Okay. After that, what happened? An immediate war indemnity of 2,75,000 rupees was granted to British East India Company. What does it mean? It means that as Bengal was defeated in the war, okay, and Britishers emerged victorious in the war, so Bengal means the Nawab of Bengal will have to give 2,75,000 rupees as the compensation of war to Britishers. Okay, and after that, from 1757 to 1760, the British East India Company demanded 22.5 million rupees. Imagine at that point of time, in year 1757, they demanded 22.5 million rupees as a war indemnity. Okay, so there were two types of war indemnity demanded by Britishers. First, immediate means you have to pay, Bengal had to pay 2,75,000 rupees immediately to British East India Company. And over a period of 3 years from 1757 to 1760, Bengal had to pay 22.5 million rupees to Britishers as the compensation of war. So it was like a plunder that Britishers looted the Bengal. Britishers plundered the Bengal. Okay, so it is known as Plassey plunder. That after winning in the war of Plassey, Britishers plundered the Bengal. Okay, friends, now Mir Jafar was the new Nawab of Bengal. Okay, so as he was made Nawab by whom? He was made Nawab by Britishers. So now he had to pay 2,75,000 rupees to Britishers immediately and 22.5 million rupees to Britishers from 1757 to 1760. Okay, so friends, now Mir Qasim was very happy because he was new Nawab and he was made Nawab by the Britishers. So he immediately paid 2,75,000 rupees to Britishers. But friends, 22.5 million rupees is a very big amount. Okay, and actually the main source of income of a state is land revenue and the amount of land revenue was much smaller than 22.5 million rupees. Okay, so by 1760, Mir Jafar expressed his inability to pay 22.5 million rupees to Britishers. So he said that, Sir, I am sorry, I am unable to pay you this much amount of money because my income is less than that. I can't pay you this much amount of money. And what Britishers did? So Britishers were very greedy. They were very greedy of money. They wanted money. They were traders. So they immediately dethroned Mir Jafar. Okay, so they immediately dethroned Mir Jafar. So now Mir Jafar was no more Nawab. And in 1760, Mir Qasim became the new Nawab. Britishers made Mir Qasim as the new Nawab of Bengal. Friends, Mir Qasim was a very intelligent man. He was very clever. He was brave also. So he thought that who is the root cause of all the problems of Bengal? Okay, who is responsible for the plundering of Bengal? Okay, so he found that Jagat Seth brothers are responsible for all the wrong things going on in Bengal. He found that Jagat Seth brothers are responsible for the Plasi plunder. Jagat Seth brothers are responsible for the defeat of Nawab Sirajuddaulah by the hands of Britishers. Okay, so Mir Qasim decided to kill Jagat Seth brothers. And in 1763, Mir Qasim assassinated Jagat Seth brothers. Now, as I have told you, that Mir Qasim was a very intelligent man. He was very clever. So he knew that defeating Britishers alone is not possible. So he decided to make a regional alliance. So first of all, he went to the ruler of Abad. First of all, he went to the Nawab of Abad. And the Nawab of Abad was Sujauddaulah. Okay, and somehow he convinced Sujauddaulah to help him in his battle against Britishers. Okay, and after Sojauddaulah, he went to central Mughal ruler. At that point of time, Shah Alam II was the central Mughal ruler. So he convinced Shah Alam II to help him in his battle against Britishers. How? For example, he said that Britishers have plundered Bengal. Okay, so they can also plunder Delhi. They can also plunder Awadh, and similarly they can also plunder the entire India. So this is the best time we should make a regional alliance and we should defeat the Britishers. Okay, so in 1764 our regional alliance with the armies of Bengal, Awadh and central Mughal ruler was formed against Britishers. So friends, in 1764 Battle of Buxar broke out. Okay, so in the Battle of Buxar, on one hand there was Bengal, Awadh and Delhi, and on the other hand there was British East India Company alone. Okay, so on the one hand there was Bengal, Awadh and Delhi, on the other hand there was British East India Company alone. And imagine British East India Company alone defeated their joint armies. Okay, so in the Battle of Buxar, British East India Company defeated the joint armies of Bengal, Awadh and Delhi, and British East India Company emerged victorious. And now comes the Treaty of Allahabad. So what was the Treaty of Allahabad? So as Bengal, Awadh and Delhi were defeated in the Battle of Buxar, so Treaty of Allahabad was imposed on these three states. Okay, and Treaty of Allahabad was signed in year 1765. So what happened in Treaty of Allahabad? So first of all, British East India Company was granted trade monopoly in Awadh. Okay, now what does it mean? It means that now only British East India Company can do trade with Awadh. Okay, can do trade in Awadh. No other company can do trade in other. French East India Company cannot do trade in Awadh. Okay, similarly Dutch East India Company cannot do trade in Awadh. Only British East India Company will be allowed to trade in Awadh. So British East India Company was granted trade monopoly in Awadh. After that, 5 million rupees as a compensation of war was demanded by British East India Company from Awadh. It means that now the Nawab of Awadh also had to pay 5 million rupees as a compensation of war to Britishers. Okay. After that, Britishers were to be granted Diwani or land revenue collection rights. Okay, in Bengal. Okay, so what happened that Britishers were granted the land revenue collection rights or Diwani rights in Bengal. So what are these Diwani rights or what are these land revenue collection rights? So it means that now Britishers were authorized to collect tax from the people of Bengal. Okay, so now Nawab had no right to collect tax from his people. Now Britishers had right to collect tax from the people of Bengal. So friends, Treaty of Allahabad was of great importance. Okay, because it was the beginning of indirect British rule in the region. So indirect in the sense because now what has happened that now there was dual administration. Now what is this dual administrative structure or diarchy? So it means that all the political affairs means maintenance of law and order, making of policy, making of law, punishing the criminals, it will be maintained by the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, so all the political affairs will be managed by the Nawab of Bengal. So Nawab will maintain law and order. Nawab will make law, Nawab will maintain justice. But who will collect the tax? Who will take money? So, but the land revenue will be collected by the Britishers. So, it was like a diarchy. It was like a dual administrative structure where the political and economic powers of the government were divided. So, political powers of the government was given to Nawab. So, Nawab was authorized to do law and order. Nawab was responsible for maintaining peace, and Britishers were collecting money. Britishers were collecting tax from the people of Bengal. So friends, from here the indirect rule of Britishers begins in India. And in this way, Britishers conquered all the regions of India, all the provinces of India, and slowly they became the political master of India. So friends, now Britishers had the land revenue collecting rights in Bengal, or the Diwani rights in Bengal. So to collect land revenue, you need income tax officers, you need income tax inspectors. So income tax inspectors were recruited directly from Britain. So many officials, many people were recruited as income tax inspectors, and they came from Britain to Bengal to collect tax. Now see what happened. Suppose there is a income tax inspector and there is a very big jamindar. Now that jamindar had to pay 1 crore rupees as tax to company. Okay. Now that jamindar had to pay 1 crore rupees as tax to company. Now that income tax inspector will go, okay, and he will say to jamindar that, sir, please pay your income tax. Okay. Now what jamindar will say? Jamindar will say that, please wait. First of all, listen to me. He will say that, please wait. First of all, listen to me, and he will give a offer to income tax inspector. Okay, he will give an offer to income tax inspector. He will say that, sir, what is your salary? Your salary must be 10,000 or 20,000. Okay, your salary must be between 10,000 to 20,000. If I will pay you rupees 1 crore, then what will you get? Nothing. You will get nothing. Company is only paying you 10,000 rupees, and you are collecting 1 crore rupees on behalf of company. So this is a profit of company. That's not your profit. So the jamindar will give an offer to income tax inspector that I am paying you 30 lakh rupees. Okay, you keep 15 lakh rupees in your own pocket and you deposit 15 lakh rupees in the accounts of company. Okay, so in this way you will earn 15 lakh rupees. Okay, and I will save my 70 lakh rupees. So this is like a win-win situation. And in this way, friends, corruption started in British East India Company. So company started facing losses. Company was going in loss continuously, and the employees of company were becoming rich and rich day by day. Okay, and for example, a income tax inspector which was recruited from British. Okay, so when he was recruited as an income tax inspector, his net worth was, for example, 1 lakh rupees. But when he returned from India to British after serving as income tax inspector, his net worth became 1 crore or 2 crore rupees. Means his net worth jumped by 200%. Okay, so the officials of company became very corrupt. They were taking bribe from Indians. They were taking bribe from jamindars. Okay, so company was going in loss, and these people were enjoying. They were becoming rich and rich day by day. Okay, so the Parliament of Britain decided to introduce Regulating Act 1773. And from this point of time, the development of the Constitution of India started. So the Regulating Act of 1773 was the first act from where the real development of the Constitution of India started. So Parliament of Britain introduced the Regulating Act of 1773, and the main motive to introduce the act was to regulate the behavior of the employees of East India Company. The main motive to introduce the act was to reduce the corruption in the employees of East India Company, to control the corruption in the employees of East India Company, or in simple words, to regulate their behavior. That's why the name of the act was Regulating Act 1773. So friends, that's all for today. From our next class, we will continue our discussion with Regulating Act 1773, and in next class I will try to cover all the laws passed by Britishers before the independence of India, that is before 1947. So in next class we will see the historical develop we will continue our discussion with the historical development of India. With the historical development of our constitution. So, friends, at last, I request you all to subscribe to my channel, share this video, like this video, comment, and share this channel to all the people you know who are preparing for UPSC. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.